These views captured by television cameras aboard the closest search and recovery helicopters in the vicinity of the landing site. You can see how close the Soyuz landed to a bullseye target. Basically, the first all-terrain vehicles already at the spacecraft within seconds after touchdown. An excellent view in this replay of the soft landing engines firing just a split second before touchdown to help buffer the initial impact of the landing under the main chute of the Soyuz, and one of the Russian Mi-8 helicopters landing within seconds thereafter to begin the process of the recovery of the crew. And we now have video from the landing site on a bright sunny day with temperatures in the mid-60s as the crew is now in the process of being extracted. Again, the Soyuz landed on its side. That should be the commander of the Soyuz, Alexander Samokutyaev. Yes, indeed it is. Being helped out by his flight surgeon and other support personnel from RSC Energia. By the side of the Soyuz capsule is NASA Public Affairs Officer Josh Byerly. Josh, tell us what you're seeing there.
We're sitting here watching these crews out here work as efficiently as they typically do, trying to get these crew members out of here. As you talked about, they've got one out. Samokutyaev is out there working on getting Ron, Garan, Borisenko out of the capsule. It looks like they're pulling out yet another crew member as we watch.
And that would be Ron Garan flashing a big smile as he's extracted. And we mentioned before, Josh, that sometimes landing on its side would tend to slow down the extraction of the crew a bit, as opposed to back in May when Dmitry Kondratiev, Katie Coleman, and Paolo Nespoli landed upright and were extracted in the preferred manner. We can see Dr. Steve Gilmore there, one of the flight surgeons, but Ron Garan looks to be in good shape. And never shy of ceremonial trappings, we're looking at a picture of the great designer Sergei Korolyov and Yuri Gagarin that was carried inside the capsule itself. Of course, this spacecraft was dubbed Gagarin prior to its launch back on April 5th, just a week shy of the launching of Yuri Gagarin as the first human in space. A good view now of Ron Garan. He looks to be in very good shape, smiling broadly, and you probably have a better view than we do, Josh. What are you seeing?
Now he looks to be in great shape. You know, it's always amazing to see these astronauts and cosmonauts come back to Earth after being up there for 6 months. And, you know, I think it says a lot about how the International Space Station program and our international partners have worked to keep these crew members in shape while they're up there on orbit. I think quite a bit has been learned about how the human body reacts to being up there for that long. And you can see how well these crew members now come back to Earth and how well they feel. You can see that some of those precautions and those efforts that we take with our crew members are working.
And Josh, as you're speaking, Andrey Borisenko now in his reclining chair. So all three crew members are out of the Soyuz, appearing to be in very good shape. And we'll be watching the television as it becomes available to us, as the crew members have an opportunity to spend a few minutes beginning the adaptation to a gravity environment for the first time in 5.5 months. It was a textbook evening in terms of all of the activities, the crews saying farewell to one another up on orbit, the undocking of this Soyuz spacecraft several hours ago, and of course the deorbit burn and all the activities associated with the module separation, the deployment of the parachutes. Andrey Borisenko flashing thumbs up. He became the Expedition 28 commander back in May. And now the recovery teams are beginning to carry the crew members in their respective chairs a few yards, as Josh Byerly indicated, to this inflatable medical tent, where they will be assisted out of their Sokol launch and entry suits into more comfortable clothing, and eventually to board the helicopters for the flight back to Karaganda.